well, not always, but good results in Germany. Second place at the last EPS. A very surprising champion, by the way, as HasuObs was not able to defend this title, but this time Hanfi won it, which was a big surprise. German Zerg player. Yeah, well, Zerg. I guess as Infestor said, he must have made a Sasa said he must have made a whole lot of Infestors, because the more Infestors you make, Ben, the more you earn. But anyways, HasuObs had a fantastic month where he second place at EPS, first place at the EPS Open Berlin, which was actually an international tournament. A lot of good players were there. Bly, Slivko, Johan Merlo, also known as Letut. Nama was there, a couple of other guys. So that was a really, really great result by Hasu and a great performance. And he also finished third place in the Campus Party, the event that MTW Supernova won, which might have been 6 to 8 weeks ago by now, but still, it's all very recent. And HasuObs has won so much prize money, man, and as you said, quite underrated in that regard.
He's a great player, Kevin. Quite a champion, and has some of the best builds and strats in the game, even if they are a little bit passive, to say the least.
But he doesn't have to be passive. Hasu is a player who has quite good micro as well, and the reason why he is so passive, Ben, is also because he has a lot of faith in his army control, and as long as he feels that he can get the army that he really wants to, he can control it in a way that he can still win the game. Wow, MorroW is going to open up with speed over here, Ben, on Muspelheim. MorroW, of course, recently joined a new team, so congratulations to Stefan Andersson. I can't wait to see more out of him. We were talking about this, blah, tongue twist. We were talking about this already a little bit before, Ben, that MorroW has played an insane amount of hard at this farm. I actually had the pleasure of playing against him 2 days ago. I won. Yes, MorroW, I won. He said he was going to beat me, Ben. I won. Think about that.
Well done, Kev.
He said I had a 6 strat. He was teasing me in the start. He said, for what kind of one base play should I prepare? I was like, oh, Stefan. Now you're going to get it. 2 base all in. Hasu is doing a good job at delaying this hatchery a little bit. MorroW is probably just going to mine 100 gas, Ben. And then he's going to pull off his drones. Pull the drones off the extractor.
Yeah, kind of a bizarre opening here out of MorroW. We don't often see these kinds of openings anymore. And usually when I see gas first, my first thought is almost always
96.
What kind of, yep, there he goes, right back on gas. Is almost always what kind of all-in are we going to see? I think it's either going to be a hatch cancel roach all-in or maybe even a baneling bust.
He's going to research speed, even though he canceled. He stopped mining at 96 first, so he didn't want to get it as quick as he could have possibly got. Of course, Hasu scouting this, Ben, he's going to play this safe. I would even get 2 cannons, man. Like, why not? When you know that you're probably going to have to worry about quite a few things. What's wrong with getting an extra cannon?
He's seen enough to prepare him for everything, Kevin. There's nothing wrong with going for that second cannon. We do see the roach one going down. And Hasu's trying to get a good scout off. He's going to go over here to the third base where he's going to see nothing. If he can time this trip through the natural, he might very well be able to see MorroW cancel it.
Do you think he's actually going to cancel it?
I think he's going to cancel it. We see another drone going out. I feel like that's a fake.
Yep. That's MorroW selling this very convincingly. I like that. That's a very nice move, nice little move. Of course, normally Zerg players want to go up to 3 bases, and MorroW just sending that drone out with one sole purpose, and he did cancel the hatchery ban. So this is super all in for MorroW right now. It's going to produce 7 roaches. That's a whole lot, though.
And how prepared is Hasu going to be, as he does not have that second cannon? He does not even have any tech at all. How is he going to defend this?
I think he wants to make a target. Now he's going to get a second cannon. That's the start. I think he's saving up for his... No, he's going to get a Stalker, Ben. I guess Void Ray wouldn't have been out in time. What do you think about a Void Ray? I think
a Void Ray is great. I think Void Ray is the standard defense against this.
But do you think he would have been out in time?
I think it would have been out on time if he'd have gotten a Stargate at a normal time.
Well, he's going to produce a Stalker, and he's going to follow it up with a Sentry, but it's only going to be 2 cannons over here, Ben. Of course, he has to worry about destructible rocks as well. 10 more links coming in as well. Of course, this is Roach and Speedling all in, as he did research speed earlier on as well.
This is a super strong all-in. It really broke the ZVP metagame however many months ago it was, but there was 6-8 months ago, Protoss players felt like, oh, you just can't defend this. We did see a lot more, I guess, development in the matchup since then, as here comes MorroW. It's going to be these 8 roaches with Zergling reinforcements, and Hasu's going to have to do it with no sentry. Oh no! No, a lot of roaches are going to get through. Did he focus down the sentry? No, the sentry actually stayed alive.
Well, and the cannon is still alive as well. MorroW should have leave one of the roaches over here by shooting at this cannon, as that cannon is still alive. I think HasuObs just defended this already.
Oh my gosh, MorroW, that's a terribly tragic development here, as he's going to try once more to come in and get something done. He's going to get some probe kills, sure. But that cannon is going to kill so many units. A lot of lings get through. Actually, all the lings are going to get through. That cannon is going to fall down. That does allow more of an opening for these reinforcing wave of lings. MorroW's going to try to drone behind this. He's really not done nearly enough damage, though. Only.
Oh, there is no more sentry, no more force field energy, though. As that Stalker, if it falls, a couple of lings might be able to stream in once more.
No, there's two cannons behind it, Kevin. There's no way. Beautiful force field there by Hasu.
At least killing a few probes if he wants to drone up behind this. Killing every probe is one.
This is almost an impossible situation to come back from if you're MorroW. A very aggressive all-in, and I really thought it was going to work, but.
I mean, one of the key points in every all-in ban, once you start focusing something, you're going to have to go all out.
Kill it. Do not let it go.
No.
He wasted a ton of damage on that cannon. Like, we'll say he probably did 250 damage to that cannon.
Yeah.
And then change targets, and that's just you cannot do that.
He had 3 roaches through, and 1 roach over here was able to shoot at this cannon that was over here, and he should have always leave that roach over here so he would have been able to take it out. Yeah, he tried to run in. He saw there was no sentry yet. Right when he was through with at least a few units, the first sentry finally popped.
HasuObs probably going to follow this up with an immortal push, which is a brilliant way to follow this up. Kevin, I would like the way those cannons are positioned. MorroW could have just killed the Cybercore, and then he can get all crazy. Like I feel like.
Or maybe just start focusing the forts, because then you know that the cannons that Hasu is going to warp in at the very first moment are going to be the only cannons. And with 8 roaches, you take out the forts pretty damn quick.
Yeah, certainly, obviously we can pick out a couple of ways that MorroW misplayed that. But I still feel like the choice itself wasn't a bad one. I think that situationally he was in an okay spot there. Hasu just made a brilliant defense. We really have to applaud Hasu for doing that just about perfectly. MorroW has managed to even up the worker counts here.
But Hasu's going to have so many sentries, Ben, and this is a push that's normally already very, very hard to defend. We saw it in the other game with Arthur against Red, and now we're going to see it even in a worst-case scenario for MorroW, as MorroW's economy is just nowhere near as good as it would normally be. And the Warp Prism is already on the way, Ben. The only good thing for MorroW is that he does have link speed already. I mean, that's something, but...
It is something, and he can always threaten with counterattacks and things like that. And if Hasu makes a single mistake with his army, if he overextends, if he, for instance, if these sentries were greeted by 20 Zerglings, well, maybe not 20. 9 sentries actually do a surprising amount of damage. But
you know that the sentry out DPS is a Tempest?
Yeah, it can't be true of the new Tempest.
Why not?
Because it got a big buff in damage.
Only against Massive. The normal damage did not get buffed.
Man, sentries are so OP.
Oh, actually it did get buffed. Yeah, no, that was in the start. I just read that and I found it funny. Little sentry against this big capital ship. It's like, ah, tickle, tickle, tickle. Damage is like, boom.
The original Tempest did like such terrible damage.
Yeah, that did less damage than the sentry, but yeah, after the buff it got better. And against massive units it's actually great. I'm kind of digging the Tempest. It's just bad against a whole lot of Vikings.
MorroW sees what's coming. Immediately he's going to choose to evacuate his third base, realizing that he has just no chance of making a defense there. Which way is Hasu going to go? If he goes up into the third, that's going to give MorroW a lot of time to get these spine crawlers up. I don't know if it's going to make a... Oh, actually, Hasu is so smart.
Wow, those are great questions. Wow. Yeah, there were decent questions. Pick up quite a few links. It's going to work on these spine crawlers right now, Ben. The infestors are in production, but they won't be out in time. That's just no way.
Looks pretty grim here. MorroW's already pulling drones, using his transfuse energy very effectively. He's making the most of this defense, but I mean, you said it very, very well, Kevin. This is already a super difficult push to hold, and when you start from being so far behind, it becomes almost impossible. 3 infestors will pop out. That's not even enough infestors to kill a stalker. So there is.
It's enough to kill sentries, right?
Well, that's good news. One fungal goes down, second fungal goes down, and we might actually see some sentries die.
Where's the other
third infestor? No, not going to happen. GG gets called, and Hasu will take game number 1. Tough man for MorroW. Really felt like, I don't know, man. The hatch cancel roach all in, it can work in certain very specific cases, but it's a very old build. And as maps have gotten so much bigger, these kinds of things just really fall out of fashion.
On Steps of War would have been pretty damn good.
And Steps of War, Hasu never defends that.
Or maybe on, what's the other map? What am I thinking of? Zelnaga,
Delta Quadrant.
Oh. You know, I never understood the hate on Delta. I kind of like Delta.
You also like Crevasse.
Crevasse is a really good map.
That game was brought to you guys by Azo Monitors, providing the best, the brightest.
Before you go there, Ben, of course I do understand that the high grounds on Delta Quadrant were a big problem, but it also created some really interesting play, like always having to worry about your high ground. Sometimes I drop like a pylon on the high ground and get a cannon, like shoot a cannon and someone's natural. I thought that kind of stuff was awesome, man. Or see Goody put tanks like in impossible positions, which somehow ends up like attacking a third base of someone. I thought, or the natural, I thought it was great. I don't know.
On Delta Quadrant.
Yeah. You haven't seen Goody putting tanks like on the high ground? With
yes, I have. I've seen Goody
awesome.
putting tanks on. That's the worst thing in the.
Why? That's kind of cool, man. It's like a different way of playing StarCraft. There should not only be one correct way to play StarCraft.
I agree. I completely agree. But when you allow for a map to say, okay, you are not allowed to take this expansion,
no,
that's bad map design.
No, you just take care of the high ground, man. That's good map design. I'm just kidding. I know Delta wasn't that good. Crevasse, however, perfect.
We're going to take a break. Azo Monitors brought you that last game. Azo.com/NA, where you can pick up your own bright, brilliant, beautiful Azo monitor. Don't go anywhere.